Hey guys, today we'll be doing a string replacement on my Fender Stratocaster. Right now I believe I have the sonotone strings that I put on this guitar way back like 2 years ago. I think it was like February or March 2020. So yeah, it's about time to change this out. I don't play this guitar all that much, but of course the strings do need to be maintained and changed. I also wanted to clean out the fretboard a little bit from the grime and stuff like that that's been built up. So yeah, we'll be changing to my regular standbys. These are the Elixir Optiweb strings, and I've used these strings most of the time. Like, I changed to the sonotones because I wanted to try it out, but I think I still prefer Elixirs. And I've tried all sorts of string brands. I've tried Fender, of course. In the beginning, I tried with Fender, D'Addario, Ernie Ball. Those are the big three. But then I went to Elixirs, which are the coated strings, and they last for quite a while. So basically I've stuck with Elixir since then. I mean, I have tried some DR strings, Curtis Mangan, the sonotones, string joys and stuff like that, but I keep coming back to the Elixirs. So yeah, we'll be changing Elixir strings. Also, I'm going to show you guys how to change out the saddles and the tremolo block on the back, and as well the springs, because the springs needed to be changed from the regular tremolo springs to the raw vintage springs, which have a little bit these strings have a little bit less tension. So right now, when you go to a music store or you go online, you buy any kind of Fender Stratocaster or any kind of Fender Stratocaster light guitar, it's going to come with 5 springs, and the springs are going to be regular high tension springs, and it actually is it's not good for actually the use of these springs, right? Which is to modulate the pitch, because they're just too high tension. So what I did was I bought these raw vintage springs, which give you a little bit less tension. So these are old school type springs. The old school springs, the materials in the springs are a little bit different, which gives you a little bit less tension on the springs, which means that you can have 5 springs and you're still able to bend it quite a bit. Whereas if you use regular springs, right, that you get stock, you're not going to be able to bend it as much. And that's why people usually change from 5 springs to 3 springs, 2 springs, right? Because it's less tension, they want to bend it more. But then you lose some of that sustain because you're using less springs. So anyways, I got these raw vintage low tension springs, which means that you can put 5 of them, which means you get more sustained, but it's also very bendable at the same time. And the tremolo block has been changed out to KGC Components brass tremolo block, which gives you a little bit more sustain, a little bit more dynamics than a standard zinc tremolo block. Zinc is a standard tremolo block material used, but it's not very good for tone. So yeah, I changed out for Killer Guitar Components brass tremolo block, which gives you a little bit more tone. Anyways, first let's change out the springs, and then we'll deal with changing out the tremolo block. Okay, so these are Elixir Optiweb strings. The Optiwebs are a little bit newer. Polyweb and Nanoweb, I believe, is their normal line. The Optiweb came out a few years ago, but I think this is probably kind of like an in-between right now for their Nanoweb and Polyweb strings. So I think the Optiwebs are nice. I think this is their most expensive line too. So I'm gonna change these out. May 9th, 2009. That's when this neck was made. May 9th, 2009. I've had this guitar for a while now. Oh yeah, so the tremolo claw I also replaced. So this tremolo claw is also a Killer claw by Killer Guitar Components. So yeah, the tremolo block is a Killer Guitar Components brass tremolo block. The claw here, the tremolo claw, is a Killer claw. So I replaced the tremolo claw as well, because that also has a slight effect on the tone. Really anything matters, right, when it comes to tone. So yeah, actually a lot of things on this guitar has been modified. So this looks like a vintage Strat, but it's actually quite modified. So first of all, the neck, what's changed on the neck is the tuners. So these are our locking tuners. So of course, vintage Fender Strats or even modern ones, they come with just standard regular tuners. So I swapped out the tuners and put in locking tuners here. So these are all Fender locking tuners. I believe they're actually made by Schaller. So yeah, anyways, I put in a set of locking tuners on the neck here. The body, a lot has been done to the body. You can tell the pickguard is different. This is a Jimi Hendrix Monterey Strat pickguard, which I liked. And the pickups are different as well. Of course, I changed out the pickups a long time ago. These pickups, normally on a Strat, comes with whatever stock pickups Fender put in there, but I swapped out the stock Alnico pickups for, these are 3 Rumpelstiltskin custom wound pickups. So these are hand wound by a guy in Virginia. I think he's a one-man operation. And he wound me these pickups to my specifications. So this is wound to about 5.8K resistance and 5.8K ohms resistance, and it's Alnico 3 magnets. And this one, the middle one, is wound to about 6.2, I believe, 6.2 or 6.3. Yeah, and this middle one is Alnico 5 magnets. And this one is wound to also 6.3, and it's Alnico 5 magnets. So, oh, sorry. Yeah, this one is wound to 5.8, actually, yeah. So yeah, neck pickup 5.8 ohms, 5.8K ohms, middle pickup 5.8K ohms, and bridge pickup 6.3K ohms. Alnico 3, Alnico 5, Alnico 5, and all with heavy form bar wire. So I think that's what I specified. All right, and then the saddles here have been changed out from the stock saddles to these KTS titanium saddles is what they're called. So yeah, these are KTS titanium saddles. I believe titanium can enhance the dynamics a bit, so that's why I changed it out. These are not cheap shot saddles, they're like 150 bucks. So yeah, I changed out the vintage saddles here. Usually they're steel saddles, right? Changed them out for titanium saddles, which add a little bit more dynamics. Tremolo claw on the back. Yeah, this is a KGC Killer Guitar Components tremolo claw, which is brass, I believe. So yeah, I had to take out the old tremolo claw, desolder the ground, and then put the new tremolo claw in, which is the KGC tremolo claw, and then I had to resolder the ground onto it. So that one is, the tremolo claw is different because even that makes a difference in the tone. And then this one is the Killer Guitar Components brass tremolo block, which I will actually take out and show you exactly how this one is installed. So let me do that. I'm just take out the bridge here. So that's it. That's the Killer Guitar Components brass tremolo block. As you can see here, I've completely disassembled the bridge. So yeah, this one was like $100 or something like that. It cost like $100 to actually replace the tremolo block, but I think it adds a little bit more sustain, a little bit more dynamics, more highs and lows, I think. So yeah, this KGC brass tremolo block. This is the upgrade I made on my Fender Strat. So yeah, that's how you disassemble the bridge and the tremolo block, for people who are curious about that. So yeah, now that we've done that, we're gonna put it back together. Like I said, these raw vintage springs have a little bit less tension because they're formulated with the vintage formulation of materials that makes these a little bit less tension compared to the newer tremolo springs. So that's why when you put 5 of these raw vintage springs on, it's going to be roughly equivalent to maybe 3 springs on the modern springs, but it's going to also create more sustain because you have more springs on your guitar. So basically the advantage is you have more springs on the guitar to create more sustain, but also you keep the tension or equivalent tension to like 3 springs on a modern spring system. So it gives you less tension, which makes it easier for you to actually move the springs with the tremolo bar and, you know, modulate the pitch. But at the same time, also gives you more sustain as well. So I find that's a good thing. So I'll show you guys exactly how low tension these are. So I don't even need to keep just 4, 3, you know, even 2 springs, some people. So this is like, oh, if you have modern, I think Corey Wong is the one I saw recently where he had 4 springs. Yeah, with these raw vintage tremolo springs, you don't need the 4 springs. You can put all 5 on, and it's still gonna be fairly easy to modulate the pitch. So yeah, because these raw vintage springs have a different formulation, which means they're more springy. That means you can modulate the pitch with ease. So if I spring a tremolo bar here, okay, let me put a tremolo bar. You can see, guys, can see the difference. So watch. So you see how easy it is to move these 5 springs, right? So in with modern tremolo springs, with the modern formulations, you're not going to move all 5 of these that easily. But because these are raw vintage springs, which have a different vintage formulation that makes it have less tension, very easy to move these, even though there's 5, right? There's 5 of them, but still reasonably low tension. So I can still modulate these very easily with a tremolo spring. See? So that's why I changed out these tremolo springs. Yeah, with the modern ones, you can't move all 5. You have to take some of these out, right? That's why Corey Wong, others, maybe they have 4. Some people even have 3 or 2. But with the raw vintage springs, there's less tension. Now you can have all 5 of them in there, and you can still easily move it like that. And then I have the killer brass claw and the killer tremolo block as well to add more sustain. So, yeah. So that's it. I just showed how to disassemble the bridge and the tremolo block, how to replace the tremolo block, replace the springs on the back. I restringed the guitar. By the way, I forgot to mention that the nut was also changed. So that's the other part of the neck that's changed. This nut was originally a standard bow nut, but I changed it out to a Graphtec Tuss nut. So yeah, this nut is different. It's a Graphtec Tuss nut, and yeah, the locking tuners make it really easy to change out the strings. So that was fairly simple. I mean, compared to my acoustic guitars, right? My acoustic guitars, none of them have locking tuners, so it's a bit more difficult to change out the strings, especially on my 12 string. But if you have locking tuners on your electric guitar, simple. Yeah, just string them in, you lock them up, and once you tune them, they hardly slip out of tune. So it's very, very easy. So that's it, guys. That's my Fender Strat. I changed out the strings, changed out the tremolo block, disassembled the bridge, changed out the springs, and hope you guys learned something new from that. So as always, thanks for watching.